So what did you say during the break? Like
I said, I need Roki Sasaki meeting with the Padres news like I need water. I said that 5 minutes ago.
Jeff Sanders has just tweeted this out. Joe Wolf, Roki Sasaki's agent, is Zooming with reporters right now to provide a brief Roki Sasaki update. 20 teams submitted information in Roki's review upon the start of the posting process. He's met with a set few teams in LA and is now back in Japan deciding the next steps. He followed that tweet up with this. The Padres, I'm told, are among the teams he's met with.
All right, commercial free until 2026.
Is that not good? Dude, are you serious? Did I give you good news or what?
So Roki Sasaki has met with the Padres, which makes sense. I mean, Joel Wolf was quoted at the winter meeting saying Padres seemingly are fit. I'm paraphrasing. And we heard what Mike Schultz and AJ Preller had to say. So like there was not a world where they weren't going to meet with him. So he's back in Japan. I was wondering how long he was going to stay in LA.
This also from the Zoom meeting. About 20 teams sent initial pitches to Sasaki. Only a few got in-person meetings, all under 2 hours at the Wasserman office in LA. Wolf says that it is possible that Roki will visit a couple cities before deciding decision between January 15th and January 23rd.
Say that again. So I'm reacting to it in my brain.
Wolf, Sasaki's agent, says that it's possible that Sasaki may visit a couple cities before deciding the decision. Likely
that was
to be
your big thing.
Yeah. Likely will happen between January 15th and January 23rd. Actually, it will happen.
Well, it will happen by then. Dude, the Padres, I'm told, are among the teams he's met with. This is a big story.
Massive story.
I mean, we knew it was going to happen, though. I always thought it was a formality. I would have been shocked if he didn't meet with the Padres.
Also,
I still would be shocked if it's not one of the final 2 or 3 teams, the Padres.
Also, it's from Jesse Rogers right now. Roki Sasaki's agent, Joe Wolf, says his client is driving the ship and, quote, calling the shots in the decision-making process.
Hope so.
So, look, the only thing that I cared about is that Roki Sasaki and the Padres met or had some type of meeting. And right now, it is being confirmed by Jeff Sanders of the UT that Roki and the Padres have met. Now, it looks like, as I said to start the show, maybe there's like a Bachelor Rose, process where he eliminates some teams and then he goes on like on the Bachelor where they have like hometown dates. Like he might have hometown dates with a couple teams to go to their cities and check out their ballparks and check out the atmosphere and the environment and everything.
I mean, how optimistic are we? If he's met with 7 teams, there were 6 other teams that were reported earlier today, including the Dodgers. Let's say the Padres are the 7th. Let's even say there's an 8th. Does that mean they have a 1-7, or do they have a better chance than that? Because 1-7, 1-8 is still not great odds. It's better than 1-30.
I still don't have their chances of landing him change at all by this report. Like,
So what are their chances? Will they ultimately be one of the last 2 teams standing? Not that that means anything if you're not the last team standing, but like, what is it? Is it going to come down to the Padres and the Dodgers? Is that where we're heading right now?
I've always thought it's a 2-horse race here. And yes, there could be like that, mystery team that pops up out of nowhere that nobody thought he could choose, like, the Giants or the Diamondbacks or something, right? But at the end of the day, with all the smoke around the Dodgers and the Padres, I'd be surprised if he goes anywhere else. I still think the Dodgers are the favorite. I do. It's just, there's just something about it. Like, they have Ohtani and Yamamoto, and they're, the biggest market, and they're Japan's team. The Dodgers are. And where's he going to win right away at, no matter what? It's LA.
But what about Mr. I want to be in a mid-sized market? Now, I haven't heard that from his lips, but we have seen that reported. He doesn't necessarily want to be in the largest market.
Well, maybe he views it like this. Yeah, LA's the largest market, but he's also going to be shielded by Ohtani and Yamamoto because those 2 players will be talked about more than him. He won't be in the spotlight. He is not going to be the number 1 guy there.
Well, what's your motivation for coming over? Let's say your motivation is to win.
Are you really watching this game right now?
Yeah, I'm watching
what are you
Kansas State, Cincinnati.
I swear, dude.
Manhattan, Kansas. Dome of Doom, if you will.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. No, I guess my question is, what's his motivation? Is your motivation to play with other Japanese superstars? Well, aren't you doing that in Japan? Is your motivation to go win a World Series? Well, didn't the Dodgers just do that? What's your motivation? That's what I want to know. Are you trying to carve your own lane? Or what are you trying to do? Why is he coming over right now as a 23-year-old and passing up $300 million? You better make the right decision. You're passing up $300 million to come over now. Why?
Alden Gonzalez tweeted this out. Interestingly, Roki Sasaki asked that no players attend the initial meetings per his agent. I said, well, you were gone. If I'm the Padres, I'm going full court press. I'm bringing in Manny, bringing in Toddy, bringing in Darvish, bringing in Jackson Merrill. But I guess that didn't happen.
So could you bring like mascots or like what could you bring? So who met with them? Preller and John Seidler?
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you?
Who do you think met with him then? Preller? That's it? Just Preller at the Wasserman office in L.A.? Had to be someone.
Jesse Rogers says this. There's like so many things coming out right now. Jesse Rogers says that Sasaki's agent says he won't relay how many teams he's met with, nor who he'll meet with next. He may visit cities soon. He's back in Japan. Sasaki's not concerned with whether a team has Japanese players on it or not. He asked that no current players attend the meetings.
Can you imagine if he visits cities and we're just like, see, like swing by? Like, I want to just see this guy on the street.
Like, huh?
Hey, look, it's Roki Sasaki.
And this is his decision. I get it. That's not how I would have done things. I would have, if I'm going somewhere for a minimum 6 years, maybe more.
Right.
Bro, I want to know who my teammates are. I want to be like,
well, what's that have to
what's
do
up?
With the meeting? Oh, you want to meet them? I got you. I guess you still could in the second part of this process. If you get sent to two teams and you go to LA and San Diego, I guess you can meet with some people.
Well, from everything that's being reported, like
he was always going to meet with the Padres. That's why we've talked about it for the last 9 days.
That's where, and the headline of I have to change our headline here for our YouTube.
Yeah, we should put breaking.
Yeah.
Padres meet with Roki Sasaki.
But it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to meet. I just was getting a little worried that there were no reports of like them actually having a meeting.
Oh, I was super nervous.
I'm like
why
guys,
is every team
what's
met with
going
him?
on here?
Yeah.
Now the level of the meeting and how it went. I mean, we don't know anything about it. It'd be nice, like, if we had some actual, like, maybe, I don't know, reporting on it. It'd be great.
But aren't he and Preller, aren't we led to believe like he and Preller are boys? Not boys, but hasn't Preller scouted him since he was a teenager?
Bro, he speaks Japanese.
You're talking about Preller, not Sasaki, right?
I know.
But I mean, seriously, he scouted him for probably 6 years.
Everybody scouted this guy for a long time.
Yeah,
it's
but I'm talking
Preller.
Personally. Yeah, but the GM that's been in the same job for the last 6 years. Not everyone has done that.
Andrew Freeman's been a GM for a long time.
Yeah, true, but he might have been scouting him when he was in Tampa.
You know, the only teams I can think of like that have had, you know, the Giants, obviously with Posey now, it's completely different. The Mets,
big.
It's big. It gets real here very, very quickly.
It does. The Padres have indeed met with Roki Sasaki per, as Jim just told you, Jeff Sanders of the Union Tribune, and we'll see what the next step is now. He cannot sign until January 15th. He may visit some of these cities for a second round of conversations or interviews, so to speak. And now we wait. I mean, it's all of a sudden getting real. I mean, we started mentioning this name in October, before the season was over. The Padres season was over. The Dodgers were still playing. You knew the name Roki Sasaki. This has been a saga. A 90-day saga that's about to come to an end at some point in about 2 or 3 weeks.
You've known the name Roki Sasaki since the Peter Seidler Memorial.
Right.
When AJ mentioned how him and Peter would have long conversations about players like Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries and Roki Sasaki. And everyone's like, well, what?
Mm-hmm.
Did Preller just drop Roki's name during this like memorial service? And that was like a big, like, you know, your ears perked up when you heard that. And then you see Roki wearing Padres gear. And I think he's in Peoria or wherever he was.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing ping pong with some buddies. He's wearing a Padres like overshirt.
Was that pre-WBC? Or was that before that?
I don't know exactly the timeline on it
either.
But it's a recent photo of the last couple of years. So with that, that's all you kind of needed to know. about like one, the interest level for the Padres and Roki Sasaki, and two, the interest level from Roki and the Padres. I'm not wearing Padres gear if I don't have any interest in it. It's not like Roki wore a Padres jersey when he was like 2 years old.
Bro, you wore a Rutgers sweatshirt on the beach.
But I'm not like
But you know what I mean?
football
Like
player.
But it doesn't scream. Like I've walked up to people before, be like, "Oh, you went to San Diego State?" No, I just like the sweatshirt.
So
Right?
No, hold on. If let me just use an example, a highly touted quarterback prospect in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Was wearing a San Diego State hat.
Oh, I'd freak out.
Exactly.
But it's not a guarantee, I don't think.
No.
Maybe they go to one campus, San Diego State, they put on the jersey.
But what I'm saying is, in that situation,
I'd
you
freak
would
out.
take that as, oh my God. That's how I view this with Roki Sasaki.
Here's my thought on this. Of course, the Padres are absurdly interested. And to your point, it goes all the way back to Preller's public comments during that memorial service on Peter Seidler. All right. So, of course, they've been heavily vested in trying to lure or land Roki Sasaki. But it takes two to tango, man. You might like a girl a lot in high school. She's got like you.
And also, he could have, going into this, before meeting with teams, had this, mindset of, yeah, it's between, I want to go to either the Dodgers or the Padres. And then during these meetings, maybe a team that he didn't even think about
absolutely
blew him away. And he's like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that. Or like, oh, wow, that changed my mind. And that could absolutely have happened.
Well, I mean, here's my
or
point.
happen, I guess.
Here's my point. What's your closing argument if you're the San Diego Padres? What's your most compelling pitch? Set roster to win now. I could buy it. We got close. In 2022, we got by the Dodgers, got close to a World Series. In 2024, the Dodgers got by us, but it was a good series. Like, you could certainly argue a level of closeness. Like, you've been close 2 of the last 3 years. But like, what's your closing argument here?
Well,
how do you separate yourself from a team like the LA Dodgers or the New York Mets or the New York Yankees?
Reading all the quotes today, him saying that he wants to be the greatest ever and he wants to be one of the best pitchers in baseball, and his strive for greatness is unmatched, right?
Right.
What place gives me that opportunity? Like, you can talk about a team success, but if Sasaki's not good, is that going to matter? Like, if he goes to the Dodgers and he ends up, realizing that the developmental program there, which, by the way, if you look at the Dodgers, like, they don't really, besides like what, Walker Buehler, Trevor May has Tommy John surgery every day. Walker Buehler's had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, but
everybody has Tommy John surgery there.
Yeah, but you're going to argue that they've developed pitchers at a worse rate than the Padres?
No, I'm not even going. I'm just saying, success first. There's no question it's the Dodgers. If you're talking about what place I can be a star in myself, and I'm not talking about team success, what place helps me the most, there's multiple teams. It's not just the Dodgers. Like, I'm using Ruben Niebla, and his experience and what his track record is as my closing argument.
That's what I was going to say, but it's kind of interesting. So your whole closing argument, not yours, but like, I'm thinking the same thing. It's like putting all in the Ruben Niebla basket. Man, if that's the case, that's incredible. His value is even tenfold what this pitching whisperer.
Look what they've done as far as investments go with Point Loma and the pitching. They have,
but they're not the only team.
They aren't, and I get that.
And Ruben Niebla has been a very good coach. That's my point. Is Ruben Niebla the best developer of young talent in baseball? Maybe he is. It's what you got. So you're gonna have he's very good.
So you're gonna have to use what you got.
He's very good.
You don't have anything else.
What am I selling? Am I selling we're close to winning and we need you? Am I selling mid-sized market? Am I selling it's a great pitcher's ballpark? Am I selling Niebla? I guess I'm selling all of it.
I'm selling that here in San Diego, we have Ruben Niebla, the pitching program that he has, what his track record is, what we have going in the future as far as development goes. And by the way, if you become a star and you turn out to be an ace, guess what? you're the guy here. You are the number one on the staff. You're not going to be that in LA with Snell and Yamamoto and Ohtani. You're not. You're under everyone else's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You are in the back. Like, yes, you could become great, but I'm sorry. No matter how great you become, you're never overtaking the Ohtani shadow.
Sure.
It's never going to happen. Here in San Diego, you are the guy, and we are building the pitching staff in the future around you. You are the centerpiece of this pitching staff going forward, along with like Michael King, hopefully, right? Like if they had for the next 6 years a top end rotation of Roki Sasaki and Michael King 1-2, sign me up.
I guess the issue I would say is that there's no assurance Michael King is going to be re-signed. There's no assurance that Dylan Cease is going to be here in 2025. There's no assurance that Yu Darvish is going to be here beyond 2025.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
there's some question marks there. That's my one issue right now, and I think it's a fair one. Like from the outside looking in, my issue with the Padres is like, you've been committed to winning. To your point on John Seidler, will you remain committed to winning like you were earlier this decade or not? Like, what is your level of commitment to keeping the staff together?
Well, again, don't throw around you're here to, preserve the legacy of Peter Seidler and then completely do the opposite of what Peter Seidler did here.
Yeah.
That to me is just not going to fly. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, listen, I can make an argument. I could absolutely make the argument that the Padres have a legitimate shot to land him, and it makes sense if you're Roki Sasaki to come here and try to do something the franchise has never done, and you have a chance to be a very good pitcher here. But I could also make that argument elsewhere is my problem. That's my issue. Like, if this is the story of Preller and this regime with international stars previously, they can make a case. It's probably compelling, but is it the most compelling case to be made?
Yeah, you're gonna have to, and I don't know what it is, but like they're gonna have to have something, and they already did because they met with them. That
I'm sure it was a good.
They feel like stands out above the rest.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they have that, but I hope whatever they said to Roki is something that stands out. I mean, look,
Preller talking in Japanese probably stood out.
Well, I don't know if he's going to choose somewhere because the GM, who might not even be there by the time is
by opening day. No.
Well, I'm just saying, like he's got 6 years minimum wherever he goes. That GM might not be there for all 6 years. Same thing with the manager.
That's where ownership matters.
Maybe the whole front office is just sitting in there with like a Rosetta Stone going, "Konnichiwa," and they're all learning Japanese.
Well, also it has to do with like what place has the most stability. Over the last couple of seasons, starting with obviously last year, you felt okay. Now stability, you can have Preller, Schilt, like in place. Ruben Niebla signed long term. Like you have stability now. Like that's what I thought was going to happen with Bob Melvin. Didn't happen. Hopefully, it's going to happen here with Schilt, where it's like, okay, Schilt, Preller, Niebla. Those are your three guys. They're going to be here for the long haul. They ain't going anywhere. So you don't have to worry about a revolving door with managers and GMs and pitching coaches. Like they're all going to be here for you throughout the time that you are going to be here, which is minimum 6 years.
Here's the truth. All these teams can make good arguments.
Everybody.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yankees, Mets, of course. Dodgers, of course. Maybe. I think the Giants could at least make a decent argument based on the last, 10 years that they're in it. The Rangers, based on what they've done the last couple of years, the new ballpark, the investments, the World Series. I mean, all these teams can make a legitimate argument, including the Padres. I do include the Padres in there. I don't know. I'm a little cautious right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm dipping my toe in the water. We're already all in on Sasaki, and we're all going to be disappointed if they don't land him. And I think they've got a shot, but how good of a shot is it?
So what's plan B?
Yeah, and I don't like plan B. I don't like, well, we'll move Dylan Cease. What are you talking about? You didn't get Sasaki, so you're going to move Dylan Cease? If anything, if you don't get Sasaki, you double down on this rotation. I mean, that's a big concern to me. You don't land Roki Sasaki and you move Dylan Cease. That makes no sense to me.
Because, they still have other needs that
that's
very
also
important.
A problem. Left field, catcher, back of the rotation.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the second that Sasaki signs with whatever team, then you're going to see a flurry of moves from the Padres.
what moves are there? I mean, I guess trades. You can always make a trade. We didn't expect Dylan Cease or Luis Ariz in real time.
Well, you could look at it like this. All right. They land Roki Sasaki. I would not like it, but in order to make other moves, they trade Dylan Cease. They get a good package back for Dylan Cease. Then they end up signing Jerkson Profar. They make another trade, and now you've made, 3 moves that have really helped your team next year. You could argue because trading Dylan Cease, you just traded away a top 5 Cy Young guy. Like, okay. But you got Roki for the long haul. You traded Dylan Cease for a really good package back, a couple major league players in there, and then you re-signed Jerkson Profar. That, I think, is like close to maybe what the plan A is. And if not, if it is keeping Dylan Cease, then I think then you just maybe have, instead of trading Dylan Cease, you trade Robert Suarez or you trade Luis Ariz. But I do think once the flurry of moves come, it will involve either Robert Suarez, Dylan Cease, or Luis Ariz.
Man, there will be some serious second guessing. Like if he doesn't end up here, I'll be second guessing like how much of it has to do with the stability of ownership right now.
Would you put blame on AJ for not landing Sasaki if that were to happen?
No, I think I put it more on ownership. Just because it's not about money.
But because it's not about money, ownership really doesn't.
But it does because it's about what are you going to do with your organization to prove to me that you're committed to win? Because look at what happened with Ohtani and Anaheim.
Well, they have, to them, stabilized ownership, keeping it in the side of their name with his brother Jon. So there you go, and then you have stability with Preller under a longer-term contract. You have Schilt, who just signed a long-term contract, and Ruben Niebla, who just signed another contract as well. So you have stability there. I don't think it has to do with that. I think it has to do with like
commitment.
No, what the Padres can offer Roki that other teams can't.
Right. And we'll talk about that on the other side, which goes back to my point. Do they have something to offer that goes above and beyond these teams they're competing with to land his services?